Good afternoon. My name is Paul Ramseur. I'm the Executive Director of Elpis Enterprises, and I thank you for the opportunity to present today. I want to take a few minutes to talk about Elpis Enterprises in the context of these few slides. The Elpis mission statement, fostering youth employment and career pathway building through social enterprise. The problem that Elpis is trying to solve is to help young people experiencing homelessness gain employment skills and have success in employment. The problem with this is that young people experiencing homelessness have great survival skills, skills that have kept them alive, that have helped them contain their independence, keep people at bay, and make good choices on their own. These skills are often incongruent in the workplace, and young people have a hard time with workplace expectations. The solution is a supportive work environment and a work experience that young people can be involved in, oftentimes their first employment experience. And this works as a bridge between our Elpis experience and future employment opportunities. The growth for Elpis is to connect with companies who can continue what we started in the Elpis internships. The social enterprises that Elpis operates, we have two. One is the woodworking program, and this is the program that we started with. Years ago, we were involved in a youth program in South Minneapolis. One of the local parks asked us to participate in a community festival and to sell something at a table. And we didn't have anything to sell, so we came up with a small bird feeder that we made, sold them in the park. And that led to a social enterprise with those young people. Later, our focus shifted to working strictly with homeless youth, and we continued that social enterprise. Youth have been involved from the very beginning. They've designed all the products that we make. They've created workshops that we do out in the community. The work experience that they are involved in now involves them hosting experiential building workshops in the Minneapolis community. We do about 160 workshops a year for 3,000 to 4,000 young people, and the Youth in Our program facilitates. During COVID, we pivoted to make do-it-yourself kits that we sell to a group called Nature Watch out in California. That's an environmental education program. We've also started making Adirondack chairs. We felt like we needed to do something nice and beautiful for the community during COVID and during a lot of the civil unrest in Minneapolis. Our other social enterprise is a full service imprint business. Started in that same program that started building bird feeders. Someone gave us a small hobby press. We taught ourselves how to print t-shirts. We printed the shirts for our program. We got pretty good at it. We said, well, if we could print our shirts, we ought to be able to print somebody else's shirts. So we started looking for customers and printing shirts for other organizations. And those customers turned into accounts, and accounts let us look at lots of different types of things that we could do for customers. And so a previous impact investor helped us purchase new equipment. And now we have an automated screen printing press. We have a conveyor dryer. We have an embroidery operation, sublimation, vinyl transfer. We're able to do lots of different things with young people, learning how to print images on apparel. During COVID-19, we pivoted to make face masks. In the beginning, when there weren't many masks around, we were actually manufacturing masks using the embroidery equipment. And as masks became more and more available, we started sublimating custom-made masks like the ones in this photo. Youth are involved in graphic design. They get some experience with automation. They're involved in all the production areas, shipping and receiving, and dealing with customers. Elpis does the work that we do in an ecosystem. And the ecosystem in Minneapolis and St. Paul involves crisis management, street outreach workers who are working with youth experiencing homelessness out in the community. Then their effort is to try to get them into some program areas, drop-in centers, where they can focus on stability and trust with young people. They'll eventually work on housing issues and health and wellness issues, education and employment. And it's in this area where Elpis thrives. And Elpis focusing on work readiness and helping young people understand workplace expectations. The goal for everybody in this ecosystem is to help young people move from system dependent to independent status. And that involves integrating into the community in a variety of different ways. One of those is employment. The Elpis operation plan involves working in that ecosystem. Years ago, when we first started, we just did crisis employment. And this was more of a revolving door. This was working with youth who were coming into drop-in centers, who were couch hopping in the community, sleeping on floors, sleeping on couches, and they needed to pay somebody a few dollars to let them do that. And youth without a job or a legitimate way to earn money will come up with all kinds of ways to do that, most of those unhealthy and unsafe. And so case managers in the drop-in centers would make referrals to Elpis for crisis employment. And it allowed young people to come in and work in the screen shop or work in the wood shop, but for short periods of time, and to make some money to help them stay safe. Another investment impact investor puts the money on the table to help us evolve our program into more of work readiness training and internships, which is what we did. So now we're focused on building soft skills in this business environment and helping young people have a successful first time work experience. The evolution to that is to say, what happens to young people after they leave Elpis? Well, our effort has always been to help them get the next job, but now it's more focused. And so our efforts have been to try to get the community and the companies to come in to help us and meet young people. And we do that through a series of events called Hands on Hope. This is a low barrier entrance that helps companies come in and meet through networking opportunities and meet and greets, where they can just talk to young people about their experiences, talk to them about what their dreams and aspirations are, what their own career path might have been. And that is followed up generally with field trips to companies, guest speakers where people can come in and talk more extensively, and youth going out to companies on informational interviews. That, of course, leads to an opportunity for a young person to identify a particular career interest and a company that they'd like to work for. And that's where Earn and Learn comes into play. And Earn and Learn is a connection to an entry-level position in a particular career field. Specifically, it's an advanced internship, and it's supported by Elpis for those 90 days. And Elpis will also help cover the first 30 days of wages, with the goal being that companies would offer young people an entry-level position at the end of that advanced internship. The target market for Earn and Learn are small to medium businesses in the Twin Cities area. One example of this is Keller Fence. Keller Fence is a fence company in Minneapolis. They make commercial fences and they make residential fences. We approached Keller Fence years ago when we first started making bird feeders about recycling their old tear out cedar fences through our program so that we could use that wood to build bird feeders. And this was a great opportunity for them because they needed a way to dispose of that wood, and we were happy to take it off their hands. That relationship led to them supporting the screen printing operation. They needed t-shirts and embroidered polos and things like that. So they started using the Elpis screen printing operation to supply those needs. They eventually volunteered on the board of directors The president of Keller Fence is our board chair. They've hired young people into their operation, and they make philanthropic contributions. Keller Fence is a great strategic partner for Elpis, in that they participate in all these levels of support. And what we need are more Keller Fences. The competitive advantage for Elpis is the things that make Elpis different. Young people in our program see the whole business operation. The reason we've picked screen printing and the small manufacturing operation is because it allows young people to see the very beginnings and the very ends of the operation. They can source the material, they can produce it, design it and produce it, and ship it and talk to the customer, and realize that whole cycle in both operations. We continue our support through the earn and learn process. Providing job coaching. Our career counselor and our peer advocate will work alongside the company representatives. We'll help cover the first 30 days of wages. And it's really important to know that these decisions for these companies are made by youth. So we're not trying to push youth into specific career fields, but rather we are responding to their interest and trying to locate companies that match that. The sales and marketing aspects of earn and learn is important to understand that homeless youth have dreams and aspirations. It's possible to worry about where your next meal is coming from and have big dreams at the same time. And we need a champion for earn and learn, somebody to get out in the community, build relationships with companies, tell the Elpis story, connect with youth dreams to youth outcomes. Part of the fun of doing this job is to help young people think big. To look at all the possibilities. And it's a good day when a young person says to us, wow, I never thought about it that way. We need to connect these ideas with companies that can make those dreams come true. The value proposition for Elpis is pretty straightforward. You know, and years ago, we used to say in the screen printing business, we used to say, well, if it's the same shirt and it's the same print and it's the same or better price, and you get to change the life of a homeless youth in the process, why wouldn't you take a look at Elpis? But it's more to it than that. The Elpis program addresses needs in the community, the needs of youth experiencing homelessness so that they have a good first job experience, the needs for referring agencies in the ecosystem to have a trusted partner, and the need for earn and learn companies to support community efforts and develop their workforce at the same time. There is a return for the work we do. Social enterprises provide cash flow for our operations. Youth get a hands-on training, working with production and sales in every aspect of the small business. And the longer youth stay in the supportive environment, the more they grow. They get comfortable. They drop their guard and they start to learn. One young person is Marcellius Watley. Marcellius was homeless. He was reaching out for support. He got connected to one of our referring partners and in the ecosystem, and they made a referral to Elpis. He started in the woodworking area. He enjoyed that kind of work, working with his hands, and he got really comfortable. And then he started to learn. He focused on learning. He started putting one foot in front of the other. He got his driver's license. He bought a used car. He's completed industry certifications. He's risen to every occasion that we've given him. He is now the peer advocate, and he'll be helping the Earn and Learn recruiter to connect young people to future employment opportunities. Our ask is that you help us hire an Earn and Learn recruiter. We need a champion for Earn and Learn to get out in the community and build relationships with companies. We need companies that will support our social enterprises. We need companies that will volunteer in business development committees and advisory boards. We need companies that will support entry-level internships for our young people. Companies that will include Elpis in their philanthropy, and young people that will connect youth dreams to youth outcomes. Thank you very much.